Is that a good or a bad thing, and why?
Well, I mean, I think if we have saved $220 million, I would think that's a great thing. Okay, but I mean, what I would like to know is are we going to continue down this road where we can do this? I mean, we have some good indicators coming out, and I think that I wish that we could concentrate a little bit more on some of those. If we have townships like Three Lakes being able to do a better job putting their budget together now, if we have schools like Merrill staying open, are there savings going, are some of those savings going to continue where we actually are able to take a savings of $220 million and put it towards next year possibly, or when the time comes, into something where a bigger demand is going to come out. I mean, I think that any savings at this point is good news compared to where we were just a couple of years ago when we were talking about billions of dollars of debt that we're still feeling now. We're just now, in my opinion, when I go around to the district and meet everybody, we're just feeling the full effects of the 2009 budget. I mean, it took the trickle down of it. It took a couple of years here. So I think that we're 8 months into a new management, is what I call it. That's what I think that it is. And I think, you know what, I think it's sounding good. As a taxpayer, and I wasn't down there, these were serious issues. I think what it did, though, was it allowed us now to be able to come to put some beginning to a fiscal end, a successful fiscal end to the dilemma we found ourselves in. And, to see the fact that the town of Three Lakes has a balanced school budget this year, to see that, like I said earlier, that the Merrill schools are staying open, to see that there aren't the firings, and that affordable health care is being able to save the taxpayer money. As a taxpayer, I mean, I think it's good. We seriously needed to take a look at the direction that we were headed, and we still have a long way to go. And the best thing that we can do is get on board together and work forward on this, because what's happened in the state for the last 8 months, besides the good indicators that are coming out, but the turmoil the turmoil that was caused from the action of the senators running to Illinois has been counterproductive to the problems that we are facing. And no one's feeling it more than all of us hardworking people that are just going to work every day and trying to make enough to get by, especially up here with a mediocre tourist season happening right now and winter coming. Indicators nationally are very difficult. We had our next door neighbor state breakdown, Minnesota. I mean, so the fact that we are sitting at this table talking about some good news, I think is really good.
Well, that would be good. Go ahead. That would be good news to the taxpayers, but it's obviously not good news. Well, maybe it's good news, but I hear them still yelling, the teachers union and everything, that this is unfair, and it relates to collective bargaining. Collective bargaining was stripped away from them. Where do you stand on collective bargaining?
Well, I'm a small business owner who is responsible for 100% of all of my own life. So I think that living in, having a son, though, that is a union policeman, and understanding how he had to deal with it, understanding that it was difficult at this time to ask this segment of our, neighbors to help. It's done. We're moving forward. I hope that we can mend the bridges and work together. Small business has been suffering for quite a while, and it's almost like the playing field had to be just leveled out.
So why not just take that and let them keep the collective bargaining on other issues like working conditions, public health and safety, and those things? And what would be your response to that argument?
Well, I guess what I would say is that we did come through, written in there is guarantees with the civil service protections that allows them to be able to still have protection for their job, for their working conditions. We have one of the strongest written civil protection wording that is in the nation. So I don't think that we've let them down. And I think that certainly their valuable job that they do for us is going to be taken care of.
They're still protected.
Yeah, I think my question, and I'm sorry I got off on that, trying to keep my questions as like I did for Senator Holpern as fair as possible. I believe my question to Senator Holpern, and I'll ask you the same, was do you believe collective bargaining is good for education?
I think education is, I would think education is a separate issue. I mean, our education of our children, the money that we spend on that, should be going for a superior education and getting as much as we can to the classroom. I think that the contracts that we have with the teachers and the other public employees should be separate when it comes to the, I guess, the end result. I mean, I don't know why it got so heated and so divisive.
Well, I guess the question would be then is, I'm not trying to prod you here, but it's more or less trying to keep it consistent. Is you know, the bargaining table would be hours, the work day, the work week. Those are the things that were stripped away from them, and I think in the governor's argument would have been that if we didn't do these cuts, you could collectively bring them back and there'd be no savings. But do you feel that that's an important thing that needs to be brought to the table, or should that just be left to the local administrators and local school boards to handle?
I mean, you know, I think what we were faced with was the fact that many unreasonable negotiations had been going on for many years. So it was very difficult. Things were not being able to be agreed upon, and the cost of our education kept going up and up, and perhaps there's evidence that less and less money was going to the classrooms. In the end, the best thing that we can do is let, like you said, the schools, the school boards, and the local entities take care of their own business. And I think that's what you're seeing happening. I think that the local school boards and the town boards are going to be able to negotiate these on their own. And I think that as far as working conditions and as far as, you know, not asking too much of any of our employees, I think that we've come to a place where we have that. I mean, we're reasonable people, and you know, we have excellent schools, and our public services for our lifestyle are great. And so, I mean, if it helped that bottom line and got us rolling again and ended up with a $200 million surplus in 8 months, I mean, from being over $4 billion in debt and having people flee this state, I think we're on the right road.